How's it going, guys? Skoks, Chicago Blackhawks Central here. Going to wrap up the last two games, or I guess the first two games after the Four Nations face-off break. Awesome games from the Four Nations face-off. Canada takes home the championship, right, against USA, and did not do any recaps on those games, but sure was a lot of fun watching the best of the best, best on best, right? And some guys finished with some injuries, and we'll see what happens with that with some of the other teams. Kachuk and like McAvoy and a few other guys, but yeah, we'll get into the back-to-back losses to start off the final stretch of the season here. 5-1 against the Blue Jackets on Saturday, and 5-2 against the Maple Leafs on Sunday night at the UC. So we'll wrap up those two games, and we'll get into it. Let me roll the intro. Yeah, so let's start off with that Columbus Blue Jackets game on Saturday night in Columbus as well. So let me bring up the lineup, and I'm not completely sure if this is the right line. I might have, yeah. So this is actually the Toronto lines. Let's see if there's anything else bit different. I believe Del Mastro was in on Saturday against Columbus, and Nolan Allen got the game on Sunday against the Maple Leafs. And if anyone remembers if Del Mastro was in on Saturday, that would be great. But Soderblom in net on Sunday, Mrazek in net on Saturday. Definitely a rough showing, not only from the Hawks, but around the league. A lot of teams got blown out. I think the Penguins lost like 8-2 or something like that. Just unreal. A lot of teams were rusty to start off the final stretch here, and wow, was that rough. But really makes it seem like our game wasn't that bad compared to some of the other games to start out this final stretch. But let me bring up the stats from Saturday, and we'll go over that against the Blue Jackets. 3 stars of the game: Zach Werenski, 1 goal, 2 assists. Probably the best American player for the Four Nations face-off is or was Zach Werenski. I believe he led USA in points as well. Unreal tournament from him, and a great game against the Hawks. Really just got on the break a lot. Skating, moved the puck, great in the D zone. Just an unreal player for Columbus. Second start of the game, Kent Johnson, 2 goals. Hate to see that, but good for Kent Johnson. Bit of a weird start to his NHL career, right? The first few seasons here, but good for him. 2 goals against the Hawks. Elvis Merzlikins, a weird game to start out. That weird save where he pretty much skates out to like the blue line and hops up and catches catches the puck. Just a super weird play. I wish I could replay it on here, but I don't want to get flagged for anything, so we'll just go through it there. Too bad I can't bring it up, but weird game from Merzlikins in net, but Blue Jackets do win 5-1. Looking at the team stats, 28 shots for the Hawks, actually leading in shots that night against the Blue Jackets with 21 shots, 39 hits for Columbus, 14 for the Hawks, seven penalty minutes for the Hawks and 13 for the Blue Jackets. Face-up percentage 63.6 at the dot for CBJ and 36.4 for the Hawks. Hawks missing Jason Dickinson, Colton Dock, but Dock is back up now, so we'll see if he plays on Tuesday, right, against the Utah Hockey Club. But the face-up percentage, there's nothing we can do about it at this point, especially with the injuries and Bedard, Nazar, like even Reichel taking draws. It's not going to be good, right? It's probably going to be sub 45% now. It's going to be rough at the dot, definitely, with a lot of young centermen and not great ones at the dot either, and not even a great history of it, actually. But yeah, rough start to the final stretch here against Columbus. Just to go over scoring really quick, Kent Johnson scores the first goal. He scores his second goal on a power play in the second period. Craig Smith gets the lone Hawks goal. Great play from Nazar to Vlasic over to Craig Smith. Makes the game 2-1. 4 minutes into that second period, Matejchuk, he scores with 8 minutes left in that second period. Werenski, I believe, on a breakaway. Nice goal for him, his 18th goal on the season. And Fantilli scores a minute later for his 16th goal of the season. And I believe this was the Bedard goal that was reversed once again. Something with the kicking motion, right? And just did not see that at all. And I think a lot of other people would agree as well. Weird call by the ref. Just weird. And we hate when those goals get taken off the board because a Bedard goal is always good news for everyone. So, yeah, not much else to touch on from the Columbus game, but the word from Columbus was a whole lot of Hawks fans in attendance, so that's good. But Peter Mrazek, rough once again in net. Yeah, so we'll move on to the Toronto game on Sunday night. I believe that was 6 p.m. Puck drop start time. Let me bring up the Toronto game really quick here. But final score 5-2 against Toronto, and we kind of held off their star players: Matthews, Marner, Tavares, Riley, Nylander. The guys that killed us were Robertson, Jake McCabe with 2 points as the second star of the game, 1 goal, 1 assist. Robertson with 2 goals, I believe assisted by Max Domi on both of his goals. Hawks legend. Just unreal, but we shut down the Toronto star players, and a bunch of Hawks legends, beat us. Jake McCabe, he scored as well. Bertuzzi with 2 assists as the third star. But we'll go through the lines right here. I have it on screen still. Slager, Bedard, Donato. I think the word's been going around online post game, about a day removed from that game. I think we just want a different look at that first line. I would rather see Bedard, Slager, Bertuzzi once again, or even Bedard, Donato, Bertuzzi. We need a little shakeup here to get something going, because we did not see much at all from even the top 6. Teravainen, Foligno, Mikheyev, Foligno taking draws as well. He's not a center, but we're having him play center and take draws. It's just coaching, man. Coaching and roster construction, right? As planned. We weren't trying to be a contender this year, but the center depth is not there. It's absent not there at all. And Nick Foligno playing center, uh, taking draws. I just don't like it, man. But the top six has been cooked to start this final stretch of games. Teravainen scored against the Maple Leafs. Mikheyev didn't see a whole ton from him. Bertuzzi, Nazar, Khrushchev. Great play from Nazar to Khrushchev for his goal against the Maple Leafs. But definitely would like to see Bertuzzi back on that first line. Get Nazar up there with Tavo, Nazar, Khrushchev, Tavo, Nazar, Slaggert. I think that would work better than what we have going right now. But Maroon, Reichel, and Smith on that fourth line once again to start the season. And midway through the season, right? That fourth line of Maroon, Reichel, and Smith, very very consistent, but um, has not looked the same. Uh, just leading up to this point, a little before the Four Nations break, right? And especially these last two games, that the fourth line is just not producing uh, anymore, really. Not a whole ton from that line. Martinez, Jones, Vlasic, Murphy, Allen, Brody. Love seeing Nolan Allen back in the lineup. Del Mastro, I believe he got sent down. If anyone remembers, or was he just an extra defenseman? He might have been just an extra, and TJ Brody was on that third pair. Hate to see it. Don't want to see TJ Brody anymore. And that 2-year contract is brutal, and I don't know how we're going to move off of him. Whether it's through a buyout, probably, but it's a good chunk of change for Brody. And it's just a weird contract, and I don't know why we did it. But Soderblom in net on Sunday. Great performance from him, even though he gave up 4 goals and I believe 1 empty netter. But still a strong game from him, making a lot of saves that you needed him to make. And I just think that he's stout in net, and obviously the Hawks' best goalie as of right now. So good for Soderblom. Love to see it, man. Let's check out the game stats from last night. 30 shots from the Maple Leafs, 27 from the Hawks, 19 for Toronto, 16 for us, 2 penalty minutes for the Maple Leafs. So they kept that to a minimum, and 6 penalty minutes for the Hawks. Face-up percentage, like I said, it's going to be very low now. 39.2% for the Hawks and 60.8% for Toronto. Attendance 19,000, so pretty good turnout for Sunday here. Tavo, he scored first with about 11 seconds left in that first period. From Donato, Bertuzzi over to Tavo. Great rebound goal from him, and going into the second period with the 1-goal lead. Robertson, he ties up the game from Max Domi, 7 minutes in, 1-1. Jake McCabe scores from I think from the point. Only his second goal on the season, but he puts Toronto up by 1. Robertson scores once again with 15 seconds left in that second period, 3-1. And an awesome play from Bertuzzi to Nazar over to Phil Khrushchev for his 5th goal of the season, 3-2, with 7 seconds left in that second period. And then Toronto pretty much just shut us down in that third period. Chris Tanev, his second goal of the season. Just very weird game, man. 4-2, 12 minutes in. Pontus Holmberg gets the empty netter, 5-2, with about a minute and a half to go. And we kept all the star players off the score sheet, which is just weird. So I guess we defended them all right, situationally, right, against these star players. But Still, 4 goals, one empty netter is too much to handle. And pretty much wraps up the back to back games. And I'll just address the Seth Jones stuff going on, right? Pretty much unofficially said that he wants to be traded. And we'll see when that is, whether it's before the trade deadline, which I hope it is. It's going to be difficult, and we'll get into it later on. But it will be difficult with the contract. It is possible. Um, but definitely something that we're gonna have to wait on it. And if he can't be moved by the deadline, hopefully at the draft, but we'll see what GMKD can get done. Seth Jones has made it public, and he wants to get out of here. Does not want to play for a losing team anymore. You know, he is 30 years old now, and he wants to try and win something. Uh, Taking a look at Ben Pope, post from earlier, Blackhawks prospect Dominic James has overcome a lost junior season and earned an NHL contract with an excellent senior season with uh, Minnesota Duluth, right? For Dominic James, a prospect that I like, and I think, or I hope that we do see him soon. And Artem Levshinov on the Rockford IceHogs, he has been suspended for 1 game for the cross-check call on Sunday against the Wolves. Pretty dirty play, weird kind of fall. I would call it a bit of a flop, but I guess he did hit him up high. It's just hard to see with the weird camera and like the quality of the camera, I guess, on broadcast. But he did hit him up high. And so Levshinov will have to miss 1 game, but he'll be back, and he's been playing awesome. I believe 10 points in 10 games, or is that 9 points in 9 games? But awesome to see that development from him, and hope to see him soon. Possibly a game or two to finish the season with the Hawks. I think that would be awesome. A game or two does not hurt at all. So would love to see that. But we'll wrap it up there. And Hawks versus Utah Hockey Club tomorrow night. Just to double check on the timing for tomorrow. Let me double check. And I'll let you guys go. 8 p.m. tomorrow night. So a bit of a later puck drop in Utah. So we'll see you then. And let's go Hawks.